Prince Harry is furious. The walls inside Montecito are shaking, and this time the storm did not come from the palace, the tabloids, or another courtroom battle. It came from one woman with a sharp memory and even sharper timing. Angela Levin has dropped a claim that has royal watchers gasping, critics celebrating, and Harry reportedly raging behind closed doors. Because according to whispers now spreading across both sides of the Atlantic, Meghan made a secret security decision involving Archie and Lilibet that Harry never wanted exposed. And once that lid came off, everything suddenly began to make sense. For years, the public has asked the same question again and again. Why are Archie and Lilibet almost never seen? Why do appearances feel rare, tightly controlled, heavily staged, and wrapped in mystery? Why does every image seem carefully filtered through layers of management, timing, and legal caution? Harry always framed it as protection. He spoke of trauma, danger, fear, history repeating itself. He painted a picture of a father determined to shield his children from the pain he knew too well. It sounded emotional. It sounded believable. It sounded final. But Angela Levin has now pointed the spotlight somewhere else entirely. According to growing insider chatter, the strict invisibility surrounding the children may not have been Harry's strategy at all. It may have been Meghan's private command, a complete security model built not around threat levels, but around image control, access control, and future leverage. And if that is true, then the story the world has been told for years may be missing its biggest chapter. Because here is where the tension explodes. Harry has spent years fighting governments, suing newspapers, arguing publicly that he needed top-level security for his family. He made it sound like an essential battle for safety, a father at war with institutions to keep danger away from his wife and children. But if Meghan privately ordered an ultra-secretive home-based bubble where even friendly family access was limited, where visits were filtered, where movement was minimized, where cameras were banned unless approved, then critics are now asking a brutal question. Was this really about safety or control? That question alone is enough to send sparks flying. Sources close to the gossip machine claim Harry wanted a softer approach, more natural outings, controlled public moments, limited but visible family appearances, occasional UK visits that allowed the children to know their royal relatives. But Meghan, according to the whispers, insisted on a California fortress lifestyle. Tight circles only, need-to-know staff, strict photography rules, no surprise visits, no informal drop-ins, no uncontrolled environments. Even birthday moments allegedly became strategic operations rather than family gatherings. And suddenly, Harry's frustration is being viewed in a completely different light. Because think about it. Every time he spoke emotionally about family distance, every time he mentioned reconciliation, every time he hinted he wanted healing, another question now rises behind it. Was he blocked not by London, but by decisions inside his own home? Angela Levin did not need to scream it. She only had to suggest it. And that suggestion has detonated online. Royal watchers are revisiting old moments that once seemed harmless. Missed invitations, canceled travel, short visits without the children, carefully timed photo releases instead of real family contact, sudden silence after stories about reunions, Harry attending events alone while Meghan remained in California. At the time, each moment looked isolated. Now critics are connecting them like dots on a map. What if the security wall was also an emotional wall? What if protecting the children became the perfect phrase nobody could challenge? Because once safety is invoked, opposition looks cruel. Questions look invasive. Doubt looks heartless. It is the most powerful shield in modern celebrity culture. And if Meghan understood that, then this was not random caution. It was strategic brilliance. But strategic brilliance can become marital poison. Those close to the drama say Harry has grown increasingly frustrated by being painted as the face of decisions he did not fully make. He carried the interviews. He fought the lawsuits. He delivered the speeches. He defended the absences. Yet if Angela Levin's version holds even a grain of truth, then Harry may now feel he was left holding the public burden while someone else designed the private rules. That kind of resentment does not stay quiet forever. Inside Montecito, observers claim the mood has shifted for months. Less united front, more separate schedules, more solo appearances, more carefully worded statements that feel corporate rather than warm. Even when they stand together, many say the chemistry now looks managed instead of natural. Smiles that arrive late, gestures that feel rehearsed, timing that feels negotiated. And And then this claim lands. A secret security decision. Meghan's fingerprints. Harry's anger. No wonder the gossip world erupted overnight, because the children sit at the center of everything. They are not just family. They are legacy. They are identity. They are emotional leverage, public fascination, royal continuity, media magnetism, and private vulnerability all at once. Whoever controls access to Archie and Lilibet controls a major part of the Sussex narrative. That is why this revelation hits so hard. If Harry believed he was protecting his family together, but now feels he was helping maintain a structure that isolated him from his own roots, then this is bigger than an argument. It is a betrayal of purpose. And some insiders say the anger is not loud anger. It is colder than that. The kind where conversations become short. The kind where doors close gently. The kind where people stop correcting rumors because they are too tired to fight. Meanwhile, palace circles are said to be watching in silence. They do not need to comment. They do not need to respond. If cracks are forming in Montecito, the oldest institution in Britain knows time can do what confrontation cannot. And Harry may now be facing the most painful possibility of all, that while he spent years blaming the outside world, the cage may have been built from within. And if Harry is only now realizing that possibility, then the emotional cost could be devastating. Because nothing wounds deeper than discovering the battle you thought you were fighting was never the real battle at all. He believed he was resisting hostile forces, protecting his wife, shielding his children, standing against a ruthless machine that once hurt his mother. That story gave him purpose. It gave him fire. It justified every lawsuit, every interview, every bridge burned in public. But what happens when a man built on mission begins to suspect the mission was redirected for someone else's advantage? That is where this scandal becomes explosive. Those who follow the Sussex story closely say Harry has looked increasingly torn in recent months. He still speaks about family with flashes of longing. He still returns to themes of reconciliation, healing, and wanting his children to know where they come from. Yet the reality has moved in the opposite direction. The children remain distant from royal life. Contact appears limited. Familiar bonds that might have grown naturally through birthdays, summer visits, shared holidays, and ordinary family time have instead been replaced by absence, headlines, and speculation. And absence has consequences. Children do not understand constitutional drama. They understand who was there and who was not. They understand voices they know and faces they don't. They understand warmth, routine, memory, and belonging. If years pass inside a protective bubble, one day the bubble becomes normal life. Then later, when questions come, explanations often arrive too late. That may be the truth now haunting Harry. Because according to the gossip swirling around California social circles, he has begun pushing harder for a reset. More openness, more travel, less siege mentality, less treating every camera like an enemy and every invitation like a trap. Some claim he wants the children to experience Britain in a real way, not as names in stories or faces on screens. Others whisper he wants them to know cousins, traditions, places, and history before too much time disappears. These are not tiny household disagreements. In a family built on fame, symbolism, and royal connection, they are power struggles with global consequences. Angela Levin's comments have poured fuel directly onto that fire because they reframe the last several years not as a united couple under attack, but as two people with very different instincts hiding behind one shared statement. Harry presented fear. Meghan allegedly enforced structure. Harry defended distance. Meghan allegedly designed it. Harry took the criticism. Meghan kept the controls. If he feels that now, anger would be the mildest emotion in the room. There is also the public image problem, and it is brutal. Harry's brand has always depended on sincerity. People may disagree with him, but many believed he was acting from pain and love. If the public starts to suspect he was fronting a strategy he did not fully own, he risks looking confused, manipulated, or weak. None of those labels are easy for a prince raised in the harsh glare of global scrutiny. Meanwhile, Meghan faces a different danger. She has long projected intelligence, discipline, and precision. Those traits can attract admiration when used gracefully. But when framed through gossip as secrecy, isolation, and control, the same traits become suspicious overnight. Public moods turn fast. What once looked polished can suddenly look calculated. That is why this moment matters. It is not just about security decisions, it is about narrative ownership. Who has been steering this story all along? And the palace, as always, benefits from saying nothing. Because while Montecito wrestles with internal tension, the royal royal machine simply continues. Engagements happen, photos happen, children grow visibly in public, traditions continue. Stability, whether genuine or carefully curated, remains the monarchy's strongest weapon. Against that backdrop, chaos in California becomes even louder. Some royal insiders quietly believe Harry now understands a painful lesson learned by many before him. Once you abandon an institution, you do not automatically become free. You simply exchange one system of power for another. Palaces have rules. Celebrity life has rules too. Marriage has rules. Money has rules. Public image has rules. Escape is rarely pure. It just changes uniforms. And if that realization has finally landed, then Harry's anger may be less about one comment from Angela Levin and more about years of accumulated silence breaking open at once. Imagine replaying old arguments in your mind. Moments when you wanted to visit. Times you wanted to bring the children. Opportunities that slipped away. Invitations declined. Plans delayed. Statements issued. Headlines endured. Then imagine wondering whether some of those crossroads were avoidable. That kind of hindsight can be merciless. Friends of the couple deny fractures whenever whispers rise, yet whispers keep rising. Separate focuses, different priorities, distinct circles. Harry leaning toward legacy and roots, Meghan leaning toward independence and future branding. Even if exaggerated, rumors usually survive because they attach themselves to something visible. And lately, what is visible is distance masked as calm. Still, the most sensitive part of this entire saga remains Archie and Lilibet themselves. They did not choose symbolism, they did not choose strategic privacy, they did not choose royal bloodlines, media obsession, or adult conflicts carried across oceans. Yet they stand at the center of it all. Two children whose names can move headlines, stir arguments, and reopen wounds among adults who should know better. If Harry is angry, some say it is because he now sees time as the enemy. Lost years do not return. Missed family bonds do not rebuild automatically. Childhood windows close quietly, and no amount of money, litigation, or PR can purchase back moments that were never lived. So where does this go next? One path is escalation. More tension, more separate narratives, more leaks through friends and commentators, more carefully planted stories explaining why everything is perfectly fine. Another path is sudden recalibration. A family trip, softer rules, carefully staged healing signals, new photos, a surprise visit, public warmth designed to say nothing is wrong. Watch actions, not statements. Because in royal drama, truth rarely arrives through speeches. It arrives through who appears, who is missing, who travels, who stays behind, who smiles first, and who no longer bothers to pretend. Prince Harry may be angry today, but anger is only the surface emotion. Beneath it may sit regret, confusion, loneliness, and the sinking realization that the hardest walls to escape are the ones defended in the name of love.